I wasn't my own attorney. I spent over $2,000 in my divorce and still owe my lawyer as I got no help with those costs.
Well, who's going to
Being
help?
of three.
Who is going to help you with those costs?
Oh, well, the man that I divorced.
Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I have a video for you from a referee. His name is Referee Winther, and he's in Michigan. And he has got a very entitled and very snarky mother before him, and she's hiding her child from the dad. I'll let you guys watch.
All right, we are back to number 7, case number 2202422DM, Cortez versus Cortez Lopez.
Again, Your Honor.
Mr. Lambert. Either you're very busy, I'm very busy, or we just keep bumping into one another. But good morning. Nice to see you again. It looks like this is your motion relative to this. I've read it. Is there anything? Well, let me first ask the plaintiff, Ms. Cortez, did you receive a copy of Mr. Lambert's motion?
For lack of information in it, but yeah.
Okay, you got a copy of it? The
Yeah,
yes or no question.
yes.
Okay. All right. Then Mr. Lambert, anything you want to add?
Nothing I want to add. But in reviewing this motion this morning, my client, I think he's justified in wanting to know, where is my child? What is going on with my child? Is she homeless? Is she in hotels? Is she in a home that's overcrowded? Where's the parenting time taking place? All of these questions, which raise issues as to factors C, D, E, F, and I under the custody factors, as well as L under the custody factors, parenting time and ability to provide. So we're hoping that the court enters an order granting either physical custody to my client, which I know you can't do on a Friday morning, but that's the request, extended parenting time until mom can get a stable place to stay that's appropriate for the child. We need the issues of custody, parenting time, and support referred to the Kent County front of the court. We need electronic verification, written or electronic verification of her address, where she intends, not only that, but also where she intends to exercise parenting time prior to the start of each of her parenting times until she acquires stable housing. We don't like hearing through third parties that she's living in a car on the streets, bouncing around from hotels, et cetera, et cetera. And the fact that she would not verify an address is most concerning. I mean, if you had a stable place, the logical response would be, what are you talking about? I'm living at 123 Smith Street. But we didn't get that. We just got denials and anger, and I'm not telling you. We think that's appropriate. The child is only 4 years old here, Your Honor. The child needs
Five.
protection.
I think the child's 5, isn't it? Yeah.
Might be 5 by this point. But nonetheless, the child is a minor child and is very, very young and tender age and is dependent on mom. And mom, it appears, is not able to provide for herself, let alone the minor child at this point in time in terms of housing and stability, Your Honor.
Thank you. Well, what say you, Ms. Cortez?
For his lack of information. Back when we divorced, there was a PPO in order, so I fear Franklin. I would prefer him not know where I live. I do not trust him with my child. I have 2 children that are older than our child, and I have no problems taking care of them or housing them.
Okay. So have you submitted a form to the friend of the court relative to a confidential address?
No, nobody said anything that I had to do that.
Okay, well, see, nobody's going to tell you these things. You're your own attorney. You got to tell you the things, right?
I wasn't my own attorney. I spent over $2,000 in my divorce and still owe my lawyer as I got no help with those costs.
Well, who's going to help?
Of three.
Who is going to help you with those costs?
Oh, well, the man that I divorced who was beating me,
Did you put in a request for those?
my lawyer did. My lawyer no longer works with his firm, and I'm no longer in contact with them.
Okay, all right. Because obviously, if you're asking me whether you need a attorney, um, I think you do need one. So you don't want him to have your address, but where, I mean, do you live in a house, an apartment, that type of thing?
It's a duplex, and
Okay,
it's also temporary. So my mailing address is still my mother's house, which is my previous living address.
okay, all right. Anything else you want to tell me?
Um, Me and Franklin are not supposed to have like direct contact with each other, and anytime that we do any exchanges, they're supposed to be in public. So we usually just exchange through daycare. He wouldn't actually even need to know my address.
Okay. Well, that's not quite true, because one of the factors that may very well determine custody uh, involves having a stable residence. In fact, it touches on a few of them. It touches on factor C, the capacity and disposition to provide the child with food, clothing, medical care, or remedial care. Factor D, the length of time the child has lived in a stable, satisfactory environment. Factor E, the permanence of a family unit. H, the home, school, and community record. So you can see all these best interest factors touch on where you reside. So even though you don't do the exchanges there, where you live becomes extremely relevant when it comes to these types of cases. That's all I'm pointing out to you. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Mr. Lambert, anything else you want to add?
Yes, Your Honor. If the child is 5, we're getting ready to go to school soon. There's going to be an issue of what school. We have no idea because we don't know what district she lives in, what school she's near. In addition, she's indicated that she's in a duplex. We had concerns about that because one of the issues was that she's living with a boyfriend, and the boyfriend has another woman that lives with him, and that the woman got in a fight with the plaintiff in front of the minor child, and we just don't know the appropriateness. We think we need a review. She's also indicated here that this is temporary. So we do believe that there's enough here for review. There are more questions than answers, and we're getting confirmation based on our own testimony that there are issues here with regard to stability, Your Honor.
Thank you. The last custody order in this case was the judgment of divorce dated 10/5 of 2022. Another case that probably shouldn't have ended up with joint legal and physical custody because that's what they have now. Joint legal, joint physical, and 50/50 parenting time. This is a motion to change custody, as Mr. Lambert correctly points out. This court is duty bound not to change custody on a Friday morning without an evidentiary hearing. That was set forth in the threshold case, Vodvarka versus Grassmeyer, 259 Michigan Appeal 499 a 2004 case. I do find proper cause or change of circumstances to reopen the issue of custody, allegations of either homelessness or unstable residents living in cars and motels, pending, apparently there's a pending criminal charge of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. What's that all about, Ms. Cortez?
That case dropped. That
Okay.
case was dropped.
Okay, that case is no more?
That was my daughter's friend across the street from my mother's house.
Okay.
She broke into my house, and then the cops came looking for her.
Okay.
And by the time the cops were looking for her, she was already gone. We were all asleep. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. I believe, based on the best interest factors I've already outlined, that custody should be reviewed at this time. So I will do an order of reference to the friend of the court for an investigation and recommendation into everything, custody, support, parenting time. I am going to order that the plaintiff confirm her address where she will be living with the child before parenting time is done. I want that to be given to Mr. Lambert, and you can just send that to him. But I will do the order of reference. Ms. Cortez, are you currently working?
Yes.
And
Yes.
Mr. Lambert, is your client working?
To the best of my knowledge, information, I believe he is employed. I could inquire of him real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, are you working?
Yes.
Okay, then the fees for that will be split between the parties. You'll be hearing from the friend of the court shortly. Make sure that the court and the friend of the court has all your correct information, because they do not forward mail, and we'll see what investigation lands us and see where we go from there.
Your Honor, if I make it, I'm sorry, sir. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Okay, you'll prepare that order, Mr. Lambert.
Yes, I just want clarification. I'm pretty certain what you said, but I want to make sure that Ms. Cortez understands so that we don't have any problem. You're indicating that until I receive written verification of her address, she could email me, that she's not to have parenting time. Is that what the order of the court is?
Right. Parenting time won't start until that verification of address where the children or child will be spending their time.
And who has parenting time right now in the weekly rotation?
This weekend I do.
So when is the exchange?
It's supposed to be Monday afternoon.
All right. So is the court ordering that the child come to my client immediately or effective this Monday?
Effective this Monday, and if she doesn't verify that.
Effective Monday, sir, you said? All right. Thank you.
So she'll verify it by then. Do you have, Ms. Cortez, do you have Mr. Lambert's contact information?
Nope. I do not.
Did you receive his motion?
I did. I don't have it with
It's on the
me or
motion.
around me. I just
It's
I'm
in
supposed to keep
book, too.
every piece of paper.
I could
Okay.
provide it right now if you have paper and pen.
You have paper and pen? He'll give it to you right now.
Well, supposedly I'm homeless. How would I have paper and pen, right?
Ms. Cortez, I know you're upset. I would appreciate little snarkiness when you and I talk, okay?
Ready when you are.
Go ahead, Mr. Lambert.
KGL at W Michigan spelled out legal.com. KGL at W
Slow
Michigan.
down. You're gonna have to slow down. I don't write that fast. Nor can I remember what you're saying. AGL at what?
No.
K as in kilo. Kilo.
Oh. Why don't you guys just send it in the chat and I'll write it down.
Do you have a pen, Miss Cordes?
I can't understand the letters he's saying. He can send it in the chat and I'll write it down from there. That would be way easier.
I'm going to send it in the chat so we can move along.
Thank you.
You got that?
Yep, I got it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll prepare the order.
Thank you.
Wow. She got even more and more snarky as the time went on, and even more so after the judge told her to cut the snark. The referee. I'm going to keep an eye on this referee because I think he is very sensible and cuts the crap and gets right down to business. And I really liked him, so I'm going to keep an eye on him. But it's a good thing now that the father gets to know where his child is, because she sounded unstable. The way she portrayed herself was very unstable, in my opinion. She seemed very angry, and, you know, who knows what she does around the child. You know, how much does the child hear and find out from mom? Anyway, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.